story. Let's get an update. Mduduzi Mthembu joins us in studio for more. Mdu, good afternoon. Early on, you've been giving us the latest with regards to the weather front, but I think we're trying to understand it, contextualize what a cold front actually means. What pushes a cold front? And really, how do cold fronts create stormy weather conditions? Help us understand that.
Okay, first and foremost, the cold front is actually an air mass that originates in the southern poles. So it's actually part of the energy budget of the Earth, where warm energy is drifting from the tropics down to the South Pole, and then reversely, the cold conditions drift from the South Pole up to the tropics. So we are caught in the middle because we're in the mid latitudes, meaning we are in the middle between the tropics and the South Pole. So all the energy deficit that is in the south is replaced by warm energy that goes to the South Pole, and then is replaced by the cold air that comes from down there. So what happens is that cold air is pushed to the north, and then it goes past us as it drifts further eastwards, and that's how the cold conditions originate.
So speaking about being caught in the middle, which areas are then likely to be the hardest hit for South Africa?
So our cold fronts make landfall in the Western Cape and then move further eastwards. So this one made landfall yesterday in the Western Cape, and then it is currently drifting eastwards, and by later this afternoon, evening, it will be reaching the Eastern Cape, and then by tomorrow, KwaZulu-Natal, Gauteng, Mpumalanga, and even some areas of Limpopo will feel the effects of this cold front.
And then how long is that cold front set to last then?
Well, a cold front is a fast-moving system. As I mentioned, it made landfall yesterday. Already is all in the Central Karoo. It made landfall in the Cape Metropole. Already is in the Central Karoo, and later on this evening in the Eastern Cape. So by Monday, this cold front will be as good as over. But the problem is the effects will linger for a couple of days before it starts normalizing.
So what do those effects ultimately look like? What should we be bracing ourselves for? I think we also understand that cold fronts move in families. So are we expecting a recurrence after this cold front as well?
Well, it is the season of cold fronts. This is not just the first one. It's not the last one as well for the season. We are in the middle of winter, and it's the cold front season. So this is not the first and it's not the last. We'll still see more and even maybe bigger ones. But out of this one, we are going to see quite a lot of large drop in the temperatures, so there is a possibility of snowfalls. In fact, in some areas in the Western Cape, it has already been snowing, and it will be expected to snow for the remainder of the weekend, including over the Eastern Cape province. So I can confirm that this is not the first, this is not the last. Even for this season, we're still going to get very cold conditions. Some
trying to make the most of it. You heard Reginald Witbooi saying there are some activities planned around that. But for those who obviously don't have access to resources and are going to be affected for the worst, what are some of those tips you have in store given the extreme weather patterns we're going to be experiencing?
Okay, firstly, the cold front is not it is a necessary occurrence because it is the system that brings us rainfall in the Western Cape, which is quite important for them, also in the Eastern Cape province where there have been droughts. But the problem is that it also has negative effects such as cold temperatures. Cold temperatures are very dangerous, especially in the early hours of the morning. As you saw in my forecast, there were temperatures that are expected to go below freezing, -6, -7 in other places. So those temperatures will cause significant damages to people that have no proper shelter and people that don't have enough clothing. So the important thing is when it is snowing or is very cold due to these cold fronts is to seek proper shelter and also warm up your houses, even though it causes a strain in the power energy, electricity, ESCOM. But it is important to keep your house warm. And then for those who are even using open fires inside the houses, it's very important to make sure that it's not going to cause fire in your house.
Mduduzi, thank you for that update. We'll see you a little later on for another weather report. Mduduzi Mthembu, obviously bringing us the latest. They're helping us understand the significance of this cold front. Cold spells expected well over this winter season, so we're obviously urging everyone to stay warm and brace themselves as that cold front is set to sweep across the country. Again, Mdu, thank you for that update.